These dumbbells are the best money can buy. They're a convenient, simple way to do weightlifting. And weightlifting is simply the best overall exercise you can do because it offers so many good health and good looks benefits. Dumbbells can work your body with more variety and from more angles than anything else. And because you can work from so many angles, you will call more muscles into play. And you'll increase the strength of those muscles from every conceivable direction while improving definition and resistance to injury. Dumbbells also offer great unlimited range of motion for the exercises you do. And they encourage body symmetry because your weak side pulls its load and grows as strong and defined as your stronger side. Soloflex Adjustable Dumbbells are well engineered, which makes it a snap to change weights. Simply turn the dumbbell on end and remove the locking collar with a push of a button. Notice the holes are evenly spaced, which accommodates the equal width of each one of the plates. Slide your plates on and simply replace the locking collar. Listen and feel for that click. Make sure it's secure before you start lifting your dumbbell. Soloflex dumbbells are adjustable in 2.5 pound increments. I've got a 2.5 pound plate, which is very easy to pick up off the floor because of the ridges on the plate. It's also easy and safe to load, and you won't pinch your fingers because of that ridge. Now I've loaded a 2.5 pound plate on a 10 pound dumbbell, which gives me 12.5 pounds. Due to the offset, you merely slide your hand closer to the heavier side and you won't even notice a misbalance. You're ready to go. Hi, my name is Doug Benbow and I'm here with Karen, and we're going to walk you through step by step all the correct form for 3 basic workouts. The first one is going to be a chest and back workout, and then we're going to follow with legs and calves, and the third is going to target shoulders and arm exercises. So we're going to begin with the chest and back. First exercise is bench press. Karen swinging into position, safely guiding the dumbbells. Coming up. Good. Slow negative. Okay, there's about a 2-second stretch at the bottom. Concentric is the press up, and then a little angle in the top. Utilizes another function of the pectoralis muscles with that slight twist at the top. You want to go to that point where you're just about fatigued, and then you have to dig in and try to find 2 more. That's where most of the productive work is done in building muscle tissue. Excellent. Simply square the dumbbells up, and you can press directly overhead to that start. Okay, slight flexion in the elbow joints. Good. And you're going to slowly descend out to the side. You should almost feel like they put your arms in a cast. So there's a slight flexion, but it's fairly constant. And then hugging around to the top position again. Perfect. Okay, now the slow eccentric coming down. Hesitate a little bit for the stretch. And then feel like you're hugging around to the top. All right, now from this position we can go directly into a tricep exercise, one that really is very effective at isolating it, and that's called a French press. So holding this direct position, all that you do is draw the dumbbells down along your ears, hesitate, and then keeping your elbows fixed, press straight up. Excellent. Feel that squeeze at the top? Mm-hmm. Okay, nice relaxed arm at the bottom. And feel like you pull the elbow up versus pulling the weight up. And then squeeze at the top. Good. Slow coming down. You want to feel like your hand is almost like a hook just hanging on. So you don't really use much of the arm. You try to pull from those back muscles. Good. Now we're going to move to an upper abdominal exercise, and this one's real easy, very short range of motion, but it's very effective for a good strong contraction in the abs. Okay, now with your hands across the opposite shoulders and your head up just a little bit, it starts with a mildly contracted position in the abdominal wall. Exhale and squeeze at the top of the range of motion as tight as you can in that abdomen, and then slowly release but don't allow your shoulders to come all the way down to the floor again. That way you can keep tension. Okay, exhale. Squeeze real tightly at the top of the range of motion. That's great. And then easy coming down. Hesitate. Exhale. Now this is a great peak contraction, so you want to really take it to the limit on this one. After you get real effective at this, then we can just add a little weight. All right, now you're just going to place this on the chest and just hold that into position with your hands.
Okay.
Good. Exhale, and then give it a real tight squeeze. And easy coming down. We're going to be moving into workout number 2, and that's the leg and calf muscles. And we've spaced that in between the 2 upper body workouts in order for adequate recovery time for those upper body muscles. And we're going to begin today with a squat with our heels blocked up, and we call that the hack squat. What you can do is prop up your heels. Often you see you can use plates, regular barbell plates, dumbbell plates to block up your heels. This bench is real convenient, and you can use that for your heel block. Come down into a low position with your lower back arched. All right, that's the protective factor to your lower back and your spine. You always want to maintain that arched position in a squat, deadlift, or whatever you're doing where you're bending and picking something up. So maintain that. Use your legs for the driving force coming up.
Okay.
So in this, we're going to be in a nice arched position. The drive is going to be with the legs to almost locking the knees, but not quite at the top. Okay. Head remains up, shoulders up and back, slowly coming down. That reference point is a slight touch to the bench. And then drive off the legs to the upright position. The hack squat with your heels blocked up works a little more your lower quadricep. And feet are flat on the floor now. Now you should feel like you drop your hips back as you come down on a regular squat. Great. Yeah, nice arch position on the lower back. That's perfect. Weight should feel like it's a little bit on your heels. Okay. Easy down, slight touch to the top. Another one that you can do in this position that's real close to this is called a deadlift. And if you move a little bit further away from the bench, you're going to go down in a similar position, but you're going to allow yourself to go all the way to the floor. Slightly touch the dumbbells to the floor, and then come back into that upright position again. This is a real exhausting exercise.
Yeah,
they're tough. And your breathing is real important, like we talked about earlier. Trying to exhale on your way up. So come down slightly, light touch, and then exhale and drive with the legs. We're going to put a big arch in your lower back on this. Good. And with your knees almost straight.
Okay.
It's kind of just a soft knee position here rather than totally locked out. Okay. And slowly descend with the dumbbells in front of you, keeping that nice arch in the back. And resist straightening the legs out on this if you can. Easy on that stretch. Good. And then up. That's perfect. Great. And then slow negative coming down. Okay, now feel a mild stretch for about a second or two, and then slowly pull out with the leg muscles, hamstrings, gluteals. Okay, set your arch. Good. Easy on the negative on this. Okay, holding the weight in the same leg that you're working, that keeps that stress right over that muscle group.
Okay.
All right, now you're going to come up to a contracted position as tight as you can for about 2 seconds. And then slow on the negative on this. And let the heel stretch at the bottom. And then give it a good strong contraction at the top. Okay, your focal point here is on the ball of the foot more towards the big toe.
Okay.
That's where you want to really push that force and contract that muscle. And this is one of the few exercises that you actually will lock your knee out on. Most of the time you don't want to lock the joint. It puts too much stress on it. But with this, to isolate that gastrocnemius muscle in the calf, you need to lock the knee out. And we're going to conveniently use the bottom support bar of the bench here. Okay. You just kind of the ball of your foot on the edge of the bench so you get a little range of motion. And all you need to do is just set the dumbbells on the lower part of the leg. Now coming up for that peak contraction we were talking about, squeeze real tight in the calf muscles. and then you're going to slowly lower down that eccentric phase and then get a good stretch of the bottom of the range of motion to really stretch the calf out. Okay?
And doing it this way, can you also get the variations on the turning your feet in and out?
Exactly.
Like doing it. Okay.
So you can pull just slightly differing the angles can change the stress on the muscles. You have 3 variations on regular lunges that you can do. There's what's called a front lunge, which is where you actually step into the lunge and then back to the starting position. Okay, and there's also a rear lunge where you step back away and then thrust back into that center position. Now both of those can involve some stress into the knees, and you're releasing the contraction on the muscles every time that you come back to that upright position. All right, now you can make that more difficult is going to what's called a static lunge, and that's where there's no movement in the legs at all. So you're positioning yourself with your feet wide apart. You're on the ball of the foot of the back leg, little flexion in the knee joint. What you're going to do is drop straight down. Instead of going forward into it, which can put stress on the knees, you're going to drop straight down, slightly touch, and then go directly back up again. So what you're doing is you're avoiding stepping into the lunge that puts a lot of pressure into the knee. Okay? And then slowly back down again. Okay, on this, all you do is just put one of the dumbbells right in between your toes. Counterbalance yourself in here, and then you're going to draw it in, squeeze it real tight, and then extend back out again. Now we're going to move into our 3rd workout in our 3 workout series, and this will be focusing on the shoulder and arm muscles. Now remember, we did some upper body work with the chest and back initially, then we moved to the legs and the calves, and this is back to the upper body again. But we're still only working 1 muscle group per week, and that requires just a time for recovery and also development in between there, so those muscles can really respond for your next workout. All right, the first one of the day is the prone lateral raise, and we're going to focus on the rear deltoid here, which often gets neglected in a lot of training sessions. So you're going to start with the heads of the dumbbells towards each other. All right, now you're going to move out laterally, turning your thumbs up, kind of a hitchhike position at the top, and go straight up towards the ceiling. And you'll squeeze that rear deltoid. Some of the other upper back muscles come into play in here as well. Great. If you've got a training partner, you can make this even more uncomfortable by just getting another inch or 2 at the top, and then slowly releasing back down again. And relax. Okay, come up to right shoulder level. Good. And then slow. 1, 2, 3, into the starting position. Perfect. All right, give you a little nuance here. Make it a little tougher. Just as you approach the peak position at the top, you're going to turn your thumb down. Okay? That rotates from the shoulders. You don't want to really think about turning your wrist, but turn from the shoulder in a downward position. That'll give you a peak contraction. You want to think about exhaling as you perform the exertion phase.
Okay.
And then as you lower back down to the beginning, again, that's when you draw the air in. You do either a rotating curl or a straight up supinated curl. And the rotating curl, just coming up, turning your thumbs to the outside as you come up, involves some of the forearm muscles and the biceps.
Like that?
Yeah, and then slowly coming down. And then the other option is to hold your palms up as you curl, and that's called a supinated curl. And that drives everything directly into the bicep without any rotation. Good. Now, a couple of things that techniques that we can add to your program here is a peak contraction at the top. So if you'll curl the dumbbells up to the top, then you'll squeeze the muscle. Now, normally, individuals will go straight back down again. But if you squeeze and get an intense peak contraction there, it'll add to the tensile strength of the muscle and also the definition. And then now the big thing is lowering it down, where you see everybody in the gym neglecting that. The weights fly down and they don't control it. They allow gravity to do the work. So you're going to fight gravity on the way down, like a 3 count. 2, 3. Then give it a little stretch so you get a full range of motion. And then back up into the curl for the peak contraction. Get a good squeeze, and then slowly lowering the weight to what's called the eccentric, or that lengthening of the muscle, back to the beginning position. And that's actually, they're finding in scientific studies, is more important than the lifting of the weight. And now the rotating movement, where you're going to turn your palms up as you come up. Now that'll bring in some of the forearm muscles for hitting those home runs. And then you get the same squeeze at the top.
Right.
And then the descend will be exactly the same on the eccentric, slow and controlled. But try to push them up and think of pushing back at the same time. And then slow eccentric coming down. Beautiful.
What's that mean?
And just short of locking your elbow joint. That's great. Easy coming down. Perfect. And then pressing up, just short of locking. And then slowly down. Okay, now a little variation on that is an Arnold press. If you turn the dumbbells around towards you in a rotating motion as you come up, turn your palms away from your body.
Okay.
Good rotation. You got the feel for those?
Yes.
Great.
That's good.
A couple of different ones that you can do. You can do a one arm or a two arm tricep extension over the head, and I'm sure you've probably done some of those before. Let's try a one arm first and isolate it.
Okay.
And use the support to the elbow. Great. And then you're going to extend the dumbbell up overhead, and your squeeze comes into the tricep muscle. That's your peak contraction on this. Now on this one, the key is to keep the elbows in real tight. Okay, and you're going to take the dumbbell straight towards the ceiling, keeping a vertical position in it. And then right at the top is where you really want to tighten those triceps. Okay, now here's the key on the stretch here. Allowing the weight to gently pull you down. And then taking it straight up. And push the palm of your hand up real tight at the top so you get a good peak contraction. If you draw your shoulders up as high as you can towards your ears, you'll get a nice strong peak contraction in the traps. And then now if you rotate back, get another second contraction there, and then slowly lowering the weight down into a full stretch. Just positioning yourself sideways on the bench, using the bench for support for your knee. And your other hand is just to keep you in a nice level position. A dumbbell is going to be positioned so your elbow is just slightly above your back. You're going to cast your vision just out ahead of you a little bit and turn your thumb in toward your body as you go back. So you'll turn in, you'll get a tight contraction in the triceps at this position, and then from there you're going to get a second contraction by going vertically towards the ceiling. Lower back down that inch or two, and then come back into the starting position. The one thing you want to focus on is keeping the elbow up above the back. Almost can think of a broom handle being behind your back, holding that elbow up. Easy down. Hesitate momentarily at the bottom, and then you're going to press up off the heel of your hands. You get a strong contraction of the triceps at the top of the range of motion.
Okay.
Using your heels as an access point at the bottom. Another thing that you can do is take one of the free weight plates and just set it right on your lap and use that for some extra resistance as well. And on this, you just allow your arm to hang right along the inside of your thigh. And as you curl up, you're going to turn your palm up towards the ceiling and then continue to twist it away until you get a real strong, that peak contraction we were talking about. And then that slow eccentric coming back down. Now at the bottom, you don't quite let it hang all the way out. Keep a little bit of tension on the muscle there without letting it relax. And then again, drawing it up. And then that slight twist to get that peak contraction. You really feel that on that inner portion of the biceps. Now feet are just about shoulder width apart on this. Your knees are slightly flexed and then arched in the lower back. Okay, you're going to draw your elbows up. And the real key point here is keeping the elbows up above the dumbbells. All right? Okay, draw up as high as you can. And now pull back. Feel it squeeze backward. Good. And then slowly lowering down. And then now at the bottom, allow the weights to gently pull you down so you feel a stretch in your trap muscles. Just keep your feet just inside shoulder width. And you're going to have your opposite hand on the hip and lower directly down. So you kind of let the dumbbell slide down your leg as you're going down. The thing that you want to focus on is keeping the hip structure real straight and real firm so you don't get your hips kicking out as you go down. Okay? So just lower down real slow as far as you can without kicking the hip up. And then when you come back to the upright position, continue on over a little further to squeeze that muscle. Okay? All right, real upright. And slowly coming down to the side. Feel the stretch. Hips are in a real good position. And then pull out of it. And then squeeze over to the other side. That concludes our third workout in this series. And we did chest and back, which is our first upper body, moved to legs and calves, and then finished with shoulders and arms. And if you attend to the form that we showed you there and use progressive weight, use what you can at first, and then progressively move up to more challenging weights, you should get a great workout. And with the new Safe Iron dumbbells, you'll get a great body. All right, now we'll do a couple of stretching exercises. One thing to keep in mind is that before, during, and after each one of your workout sessions, stretching is very important to incorporate into your program. We'll take you through just a couple of those now. In the lower body, for your calf muscles, if you place your heel on the floor and stretch slightly forward, the principle to remember here is to stretch comfortably, mild tension and never pain. To your quadriceps for the various leg exercises, drawing your heel in towards your seat, we'll stretch the front of your legs. And for your hamstrings and the back of the thighs, if you just lean slightly forward with your foot up on a bench, you comfortably stretch the hamstrings. To your upper body, for your chest musculature, on a vertical piece, such as a Soloflex mainframe, turning slightly outward, comfortably stretch the chest muscles. For your back musculature, turning away and leaning back, we'll stretch through the latissimus muscles. Moving on to the arms, reaching down the center of your back, you stretch the triceps. Over your opposite shoulder to stretch the deltoids. And placing your hands together and pulling downward to stretch the trapezius muscles and rolling that over into the forearms. Remember always to stretch comfortably, mild tension, never pain, and try to relax through the stretch as you do them. You'll notice your breathing should be comfortable as you do that as well. Thanks for tuning in, and stay safe and stay healthy.
Soloflex has the best customer service in the industry. If you need further instructions on how to use your adjustable dumbbells or have any other questions, feel free to call Soloflex toll-free at 1-800-547-8802.